Naughty Little Sister Was Good by Dorothy Edwards, illustrated by Shirley Huggis. Chapter 5 The Bonfire Pudding. When my sister was a little girl, she didn't like bonfire night and fireworks. She didn't like them at all. I liked them very much, and so did my sister's friend Harry. But she didn't. She wouldn't even look out of the window on bonfire night. She would say, "It's burning and banging. I don't like it." So on bonfire nights, Mother stayed home with her, while our father took me out to let the fireworks off. It was a pity because our mother did like fireworks. Well, now, one day, just before the 5th of November, which is Bonfire Day is called, our mother took us round to our grandmother's house to pay a visit. And Mother told Granny all about my little sister not liking fireworks. She said, "It's such a pity because this year the fireworks are going to be very grand. There is going to be big bonfire on the common. Everyone is going there to let off fireworks." She said, "There is going to be a grand opening with the mayor and a band on a lorry." Our mother said, "I am sure she would like it. She likes music." But my sister looked very cross. She said, "I do not like music very much, but I don't like fireworks." Mother said, "But they are going to have baked potatoes and sausages and spicy cakes and all sorts of nice things to eat." My sister said, "I don't like bonfires." Mother said, "You see, she's a stubborn child. She won't try to like them." But our granny wasn't a bit surprised. She said, "Well, I don't like bonfire or fireworks either. I never did. I was always glad to get my children out of the house on the 5th of November. It gave me a chance to do something much more interesting." My little sister was glad to know that our grandmother didn't like fireworks either. So she went right up to Granny's chair and held her hand. Granny said, "You don't like fireworks and no more do I. Why don't you come and visit me on fireworks night? I think I can find something interesting for you to do." When Granny said this, she shut one of her eyes up and made a funny face at my sister. She said, "Why don't you come and have some fun with me? Then your mother can go to the common with your daddy and sister and have fun too." My sister made a funny face back at Granny and said, "Yes, I think I should like that." So on bonfire night, before it got too dark, Mother wrapped my little sister up in a warm coat and a big shawl and put her in a pushchair and hurried round to grandmother's house. She left my sister as soon as Granny opened the door because she was in a hurry to get back. "Come in," said Granny to my little sister. "You are just in time." She helped my sister take her things off, and then she said, "Now in the kitchen, Missy." It was lovely and warm in the kitchen in our Granny's house. My sister was very pleased to see the big fire and the black pussy asleep in front of it. "Look," said Granny, "it's all ready." Granny's big kitchen table looked like a shop. There were so many things on it. There were jars and bottles and packets full of currants and sweeteners and raisins and ginger and candied peel and big heap of salt on a board and big heap of brown sugar on a plate. There were apples and oranges and lemons and even some big green carrots. There was a big brown bowl standing on a chair that had a big wooden spoon in it. And on the training board there are lots of white bacon. Can you guess? My sister couldn't. She didn't know what all this stuff was for. So Granny said, "We are going to make the family Christmas puddings. I always make one for every one of my children every year, and I always take them on bonfire night. It takes my mind off the bangs. My sister was very surprised to hear this and to know that all these lovely things to eat were going to make into Christmas puddings. Granny said, "You can help me, and it will take your mind off the bangs too." She said, "I'll look out the little apron. It will just fit you, and it's you to belong to one of your aunties when she was a little girl." And she tied a nice white apron around my sister's little middle. "Now," Granny said, "climb up to the sink and wash and scrub your hands. They must be clean for cookery." So my sister climbed up to the sink and washed her hands, and Granny dried them for her, and then she was ready to help. Granny found lots of things for her to do, and they laughed all the time. Granny was quick as quick, and every time my sister finished doing one thing, she found something else for her to do at once. Granny poured all the currants out onto the table, and my sister looked to see if there were any stocky bits left in them. When she had done that, Granny told her to take the almonds out of the water and pop them out of their brown skin. That was a lovely thing to do. When my sister popped up an almond into her mouth, Granny only laughed and said, "I'll have one as well." Granny chopped the sweet. Then the almond and the ginger, while my sister pulled the currants and sweetness and things into the big brown bowl for her. It was quite a hard job because she had to climb up and down so much, but she did it, and she didn't spill anything either. Granny was pleased. Grandmother chopped the candy peel, and because my sister was so good and helpful, she gave her one of the lovely sugary candy peel middle to suck, while Granny crumbled bread and chopped the apples and carrots. She let my sister press the orange and lemon into the squeezer. All the time, they chattered and laughed and never thought about bonfire night. They never noticed the bangs. Once the black pussy jumped out of the chair and ran and hid himself under the dresser, but they were laughing so much they didn't even notice. At the very end, Granny broke a lot of eggs into a basin. Then she held the mixer while my sister turned the handle to beat them. And sometimes, while they were working, Granny would make a funny face at my sister and eat a sultana, and sometimes my sister would make a funny face at Granny and eat a raisin. When all the things had been put into the brown bowl, Granny began to mix with a big spoon. She gave my sister a little wooden spoon so that she could mix too. Then Granny said, "Now you must shut your eyes and stir and make a wish you always wish on a Christmas pudding mixture." And my sister did. She shut her eyes and turned her spoon round and round. Then Granny shut her eyes and wished. My sister said, "I wished I could come and help you next bonfire night, Granny." And Granny said, "Well, Missy, that was just what I wished too." When my sister sat quietly by the fire while our grandmother put the pudding mixture in all the basin and covered them with paper and tied them with cloth, my sister was very tired now, but she sat smiling and watching until Father came to fetch her. Our father said, "Goodness, Mother, do you make the Christmas pudding on bonfire night? Why you used to when I was a boy?" Granny said, "This little girl and I think bonfire night is the best time of all for making Christmas puddings," she said. "You may as well take your pudding now. It must be boiled all day tomorrow and again on Christmas Day. It should be extra good this year as I have such a fine helper." So Father brought us home that night, and on Christmas Day we had it for dinner. My sister was so proud when she saw it going into the water on Christmas morning. She almost forgot her new toys. And when we were sitting around the table and Father poured brandy on it and lit it so that the pudding was covered with little blue flames, my sister said, "Now it's a real bonfire pudding." Chapter 6. Harry's Shouting Coat. Long ago, when my sister was a funny little girl with a friend called Harry, Harry had an auntie who lived over the sea in Canada, and this auntie used to send Harry presents. Sometimes she sent him toys, sometimes she sent him sweeties, but once she sent him a very bright coat. It was the loveliest coat Harry had ever seen. It was the loveliest coat my little sister has ever seen. It was bright red, and it had a bright yellow color and bright yellow pockets and shiny goldy buttons, and there was white twisty cords around the buttons. My sister was playing at Harry's house when the coat parcel came, and they were both very excited. Harry tried the coat on at once and walked up and down to show my sister. Then my sister tried it on and walked up and down to show Harry. But do you know, Harry's mother didn't like that coat at all. She said, "I really don't think you can wear it to go out in. It's far too loud." Then she showed the coat to Harry's father. He said, "Yes, it's loud. All right, it shouts." Harry's father and mother laughed then, but Harry didn't laugh, and my sister didn't laugh. Harry was thoroughly cross. She said, "It's a very nice coat. Auntie sent it for me. I want to wear it." His father said, "Well, you can wear it in the garden and frighten the birds with it, and then they won't eat all the seeds." But Harry didn't want to wear that beautiful coat in the garden. He wanted to wear it where all the other children could see it. My sister wanted him to wear it where all the other children could see it too. She wanted to be with him when everyone was looking at his smart red coat. She said, "I think it's a beautiful coat, Harry." Harry said, "I want to wear it outside." Harry was very cross when he said, "I want to wear it," but he didn't shout. He had a little cross voice. Harry has a shouting voice too. She used to shout at my naughty little sister sometimes, but he had a little cross voice too. Harry's mother didn't like to be unkind about the red coat because after all it was Harry's present. So she had a good idea. She said, "All right, you can wear it out one day if you are a very good boy." She said it because she thought Harry wouldn't be good, but he was. Those two naughty children went out in the garden and whispered, and they made up their minds that Harry would be good, and he was. My sister helped him to be good. She didn't quarrel with him or grumble at him. She was good and polite to him, and Harry was good and polite to her. Do you know how they managed it? They played a game of being good and polite people. It was fun. When Harry was at home, he was still good. He helped his father tie up his toy, and he kept saying to Mother, "Haven't I been good enough yet?" Until at last, she said Harry could wear his coat tomorrow. She said she would take Harry and my sister for a picnic on the island, and Harry could wear his red coat. Harry and my sister were very pleased about this because they liked going to the island very much. The island was in the middle of the river. there was an old man in a sailor hat and a blue coat to row you in a boat to the island and to come and fetch you later on. He was the ferryman. It was lovely to sit in the boat with the water all around you. You had to sit very still on the seat or the old man shouts at you. So you couldn't play anything, but it was still very nice. Sometimes there were lots of people going to the island, but on this picnic day, when Harry wore this loud red coat, there was only Harry's mother and Harry and my little sister. The old ferryman wasn't there either. There was just a boy to row the boat. The boy said the old man was his granddad. He said his granddad had gone to get some new teeth, but he would be back later on. Harry and my sister were disappointed there were no other people going to the island. They wanted to show off the coat. Lots of people had stared when they went through the town, and they had been very proud. The farmer had said, "My, my!" and a boy had whistled, and some people had come out of a shop to look. It had been exciting. Harry's mother said she wasn't sorry no one else was going to the island. Although there were no other people, Harry and my sister had a lovely time. They ran all around the island first, then they played house on fire. My sister sat under a bush that was the house, and Harry was the fire engine and the fireman too, in his red coat and shiny buttons. Then they ate the picnic, and Harry's mother said she would have a little nap before the ferryman came to fetch them. Harry said he would have a nap too because he had got hot and tired running around in his coat all the time. And my sister said she would have a nap as well as there wouldn't be anyone to play with. So she lay down too, and soon everyone was fast asleep. Harry's mother woke up first of all. Then she woke up. She was very worried. She woke Harry and my sister up, and they were very cross and sleepy at first. She said, "Oh, do wake up properly, children. It's late and the boat hasn't come." They all ran across the river then, and Harry and my sister forgot to be sleepy because Harry's mother was so worried. They saw the boat tied up across the river, but there was no boat boy and no old ferryman. Harry's mother said, "Oh dear, they have forgotten us." Then she said this. My sister started to cry because it sounded so nasty to be forgotten. And then Harry cried too, and his mother had to make a fuss of them until they stopped. "Never mind," she said, "we will wait, and when we see anyone we will call out, and they will know we are here." They wait and wait, just as they were beginning to think fast they might have sleep on the island all night. They saw the old man in his sailor hat coming down the path by the boat. They shout and shout, but the old man took no notice. They shout again, but he didn't hear them. He looked across. He stood still. Then he waved and waved to them. He untied the boat, got in it, and began to row and rowed straight to the island. They were glad to see him. When he rowed them back, he told Harry's mother that his grandson had forgotten to tell him about them. He said, "I was just coming to put the boat away." Harry's mother said, "It's a good thing we shouted then." But the old man said, "I didn't hear any shouting, ma'am. I didn't hear anything," she said. "If I hadn't looked across and seen this young chap's coat, I shouldn't have known anyone was here." When the old man said this, Harry looked at my little sister and she looked at him. "Father said the coat shouted," Harry said. "It's a good thing it was loud," said my sister. "I don't think we would like to sleep on the island very much." When they got home again, Harry's mother said, "Well, at least you won't get lost in that coat. It's too conspicuous. I think you had better wear it when we go to the park or one of the other places you sometimes get lost in. And that's just what Harry did. Sometimes when they played in the park, he let my sister borrow it for a treat so that she could run about in the break-in without getting lost. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you like the video. If you like it, put on a like and a subscribe. Thank you very much.